Welcome back, dear students. So, uh, good morning. Today, we are going to see the story mapping of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. In the previous class, we saw the plot structure of Dr. Faustus in two sections. In the first section, we saw how Dr. Faustus started learning magic, and the second section, we saw how the fame of Dr. Faustus around the world and the pranks done by Dr. Faustus, and at last how the soul of Dr. Faustus was taken by Lucifer to the hell. These are the two uh, sections which we saw in the previous class. Now I'm going to just map the story, these two sections, into one part by story mapping. So just listen to it and get into it. Welcome to my lecture. So, story mapping of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. So, the story opens with an chorus. It states it is not a love story. It is a story of a German scholar named Dr. Faustus, who is very proud, who is very ambitious scholar. He is not only a scholar of one subject, he is a scholar of logic, he is a scholar of mathematics, he is a scholar of engineering, and he is a scholar of medicine. Now, Dr. Faustus, when the play opened, Dr. Faustus is not happy about the knowledge he has gained. He is over ambitious and he wants to explore a new area of knowledge. And he seeks the help of his two friends, who is Cornelius and Baldus. Cornelius and Baldus are learned magicians, and they suggest some books to Dr. Faustus. And on the recommendation of Cornelius and Baldus, Dr. Faustus starts reading magic books from the library. Slowly, Dr. Faustus decides to learn black magic, or decides to explore black magic. And when he masters the black magic, he is able to call Mephastophils the devil. So Mephastophil, when called, comes to Dr. Faustus and demands reason for his calling. And Dr. Faustus asks Mephastophils to call his master, and his master is Lucifer. So Mephastophils goes away and brings Lucifer, his master, to Dr. Faustus. And Dr. Faustus and Lucifer go on an agreement. The agreement is that Mephastophils must work for Dr. Faustus for 24 years. So, after 24 years, Dr. Faustus will give away his soul to Lucifer. That's the agreement. And Lucifer demands Dr. Faustus to write it in his own blood. So, Dr. Faustus writes the agreement in his own blood that for 24 years Mephastophils will serve as a servant for Dr. Faustus, and he will achieve all success in his field. And Lucifer thereafter goes away, handing Mephastophils to Dr. Faustus. So Mephastophil teaches Dr. Faustus magic chants. The first thing he does is he writes Homo figo, O man fly, and now Dr. Faustus becomes invisible and he can fly anywhere in the world. Next, Mephastophils gives some books to read to Dr. Faustus so that he can do many magic tricks. Dr. Faustus reads those books and he gains more power. After reading those books, Dr. Faustus asks a few questions. Mephastophil answers all those questions. At last, Dr. Faustus questions, who made the universe? And Mephastophil refuses to answer. He calls Lucifer for this question. Lucifer comes to Dr. Faustus and shows 7 deadly sins before Dr. Faustus and refuses to answer the question. Now, after Dr. Faustus gets the power, he wants to fly to the world in no time. So, first he goes to Rome. So, when Dr. Faustus goes away to Rome, his servant Wagner reads the books of Dr. Faustus, the magic books of Dr. Faustus, and he also learns to play some tricks. Now, Wagner appoints Robin as his servant when Dr. Faustus goes away. And this is a subplot. Wagner's theme is a subplot which goes parallel to main plot. The main plot, and in the main plot, Dr. Faustus goes to Rome. He goes to the palace of Pope, and when in the palace of Pope, you can see the events are connected are Dr. Faustus. Mephastophils appear. Dr. Faustus deals with Lucifer. Lucifer arrives and bond is signed. Faustus gets magic power and he Faustus questions. Mephastophil refuses to answer the question and Faustus travels. Now he goes to Rome. And in Rome, he goes to Pope's palace and he plays pranks. Pranks is a silly, childishly with the Pope, with the invisible. He throws away the food. He kicks in the face of the Pope. So all these things Dr. Faustus does. So after going to Rome, he goes to Charles Fifth Palace, and in Charles Fifth Palace, Charles V wants Alexander the Great to see Alexander the Great, and Dr. Faustus brings Alexander the Great and his wife before Charles V, and Charles V is very happy. And the fame of Dr. Faustus spread, and Duke of Vanholt calls Dr. Faustus to his palace. He goes to Duke of Vanholt, and the Duchess of Vanholt asks grapes in summer, and Dr. Faustus brings grapes to Duchess of Vanholt, and Duchess of Vanholt is impressed. And what happens is, yeah, um, a night, a night at Charles Fifth Palace marks at Dr. Faustus. For this, Dr. Faustus puts two antennas on the head of the knight, antennas in the head of the knight, and sends him away. And on his way, he sees a horse trader. Dr. Faustus sees a horse trader, and Dr. Faustus brings a horse and sells the horse to the horse trader. When the horse trader takes the horse into a river, the horse turns into hay, white coat, into hay, and the horse trader gets angry and meets Robin, the friend of the servant of Wagner, and he brings Robin meets Dr. Faustus in the palace of the Duke of Vanholt. But Dr. Faustus makes the horse trader run with some magic, and it gives an entertainment to Duke and the Duchess. And after very long travel, 24 years of travel around the Europe, Dr. Faustus becomes too famous, and the final day comes. In the final day, Dr. Faustus calls Mephastophils to bring Helen of Troy, the beautiful woman. He kisses Helen of Troy and he calls his scholars in the final day and he says all about Lucifer, Mephastophils, and his agreement. The scholars get stuck wonder, and the final mate Lucifer arrives and takes away the soul of Dr. Faustus. And the next morning, only the dead body of Dr. Faustus is seen. Scholars arrange for the funeral next morning. So this is the story mapping and the events related to the story mapping of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. Thank you for watching the video, students. Keep learning. Stay tuned to Google Class. Thank you.